Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to the Hip Horse. Tommy D along with Johnny Lowe. And we got Saratoga here, opening day. It's here. It finally made it. Even though we can't be there, we can still watch and gamble on it, Johnny. That's Thursday, July 16th. And we got two stakes races we're going to take a look at. Pretty nice opening day card, Johnny. First of all, how you doing?
Doing well, doing well. Just glad to see that we've moved over from Belmont to Saratoga, and it's really gonna set off the summer. You know, nothing says summer like a Saratoga meet out in New York, and we've got the Travers coming up and the Haskell and Monmouth, and this week tomorrow actually we have the Peter Pan. You know, it's a nice race for 3-year-olds, and it's a step in the direction towards that September Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, Peter Pan, always a big race, and usually at Belmont. It's going to be at Saratoga. I know we talked about that briefly, but Saratoga, a special place for me growing up in Central New York. Always looking forward to opening day. A little interesting to see how it plays off without people there, but there'll still be a lot of action and a great-looking card. So let's get right to it. Peter Pan, Johnny, your thoughts on this race for 3-year-olds? It's going to be going a mile and an eighth at Saratoga.
So usually, you know, the first thing that I do is I look for past race performances for the certain stakes race, and I try to look for pedigree. I don't know. I would say just like the rhythm of how the race has been run with the pedigrees, based on what kind of stallions, what kind of brood mares, what kind of mix it's taking, and usually it's a 1-turn, mile and an eighth at Belmont. This year it's going to be 2 turns, mile and an eighth at Saratoga. So I can pretty much throw those out the window. So from there, I'm going to have to rethink and decide for a grade 3 race at a mile and an eighth, what would a good pedigree be? 2 turns. And for me, when I look at this race, I look at the pedigrees that we have on hand, and then I try to break them down from there. And I think for me, I really like these Uncle Mo's. There's 3 Uncle Mo's in here. One was a $925,000 purchase. Bob Baffert trained him for a while and then sent him out to Brizet, and he ran him on the turf. He did pretty well, actually. He won the race, but I think I'm going to look past that one. I think if Baffert gave up on him as a Kentucky Derby entrant, maybe I'll let him beat me here if he's good enough. The other 2 are going to be Modernist and Curacaro. And Curacaro, I think I'll take him above Modernist. His last race, he won by 6 lengths at Gulfstream Park in January. It was a pretty impressive race. He looked a little bit green on the track. He's had a few decent work since then. I think he's going to be fit enough. He's out of a Warfront mare. He's got that Uncle Mo speed line on top. He's got a decent amount of stamina on the bottom with the Warfront. And I think since January, the horse has probably developed. So for me, I'm going to assume that if he takes to the 2 turns, he hasn't had a 2-turn race yet. If he takes to the 2 turns, he's probably going to be the horse to beat in here, in my opinion. The other horse I kind of like in this race is Mystic Guide. Mystic Guide is going to have Jose Ortiz aboard for the first time. Stidham trains Mystic Guide. Last time out, he lost an allowance race by 5 lengths. But he lost to Tap It to Win, who just absolutely freaked that afternoon. Tap It to Win came back and ran in the Belmont Stakes. He didn't run as well as they thought he would run, but Mystic Guide did show some heart. He ran down Country Grammar. The race before that, he won by 5 lengths. And I think Mystic Guide, the way he finished his last couple of races, showed me that he does stride out pretty well, and the horse does have some heart.
Yeah, no, I like the quick little rundown there, the Peter Pan here. I mean, I'm with you. I like Modernist on top, but I'm looking at second off the bench, 23% for Bill Mott. Alvarado, all 6 starts, 3 starts at the distance, has 2 wins. Got to like to see that. Didn't show up in the Belmont off the bench, but 3rd in the Louisiana Derby, and then won the Risen Star, grade 2, one of that at the distance. Uncle Mo, like you said, and the owners are the Y Gods, prominent owners in the game. Just a couple points that I looked at, and then the 7, Caraco. I'm not saying that correctly, but that would be my second choice here. The trainer here. Plus 180 days, 67%. Only has 3 mounts, but you like to see that. This horse won by 6 lengths back to break its maiden in January. You get Castellano. It's been off since January, but I like what you're saying about the 7. And then the last one I'll mention maybe is Country Grammar. This morning line 7-2. Chad Brown, Ortiz Jr. Going to be the combo here. Paul Palma Jr., owner here, big-time owners in the game. Tonalist is the sire. I know the distance doesn't matter, but Tonalist did win the Peter Bad in 2014. Maybe wants to win it for the daddy. Not sure, but, third in this last first weeker, second off 28%. So some good numbers here, good local workouts. I'd love to see the horses that got on the Saratoga track early and got some workouts on. That's something I always like about Saratoga. So it's going to be a competitive race, the Peter Pan, but I'm with you. I like the 3, the 7, and the 2, 6. I could see that. And then I guess maybe long shot play the 8, Chestertown, but not totally sold on it. Maybe just the $2 million price tag, if anything there.
But yeah, that Chestertown, boy, that was a big purchase. I think they went ahead and threw down the clams because Artemis Agroterra, the broodmare of Chestertown, she was a big-time racehorse herself, and I think she definitely attracted the buyers. They're trying blinkers for the first time with that horse. I don't know if they're trying to put any speed into him or just maybe trying to get him involved in the race earlier on. He likes to fall back a little bit. He hasn't had quite the kick that he's needed down the stretch in those last few races. One thing I will say about Modernist, like you said, with the Martin and Pam Wygod, one of my favorite horses, Shared Belief. He was bred by them, and they've been in horse racing for a long time. They do a good job. They're hooking up here with Belmont. Belmont last year had the runner-up who turned into the official Kentucky Derby winner due to the disqualification. Spots like this, Mott kind of comes through. He seems like one of those guys that just has a horse that looks like Modernist and ends up winning the races. He did that in the Risen Star at 12-1. Would not surprise me at all if this horse ran a big race. I'm not sure what their tactics are going to be. It seems to me like he's a little bit better if he gets out of the gate well and he's up front and engages early. His last couple of races, he didn't do that, and he just kind of seemed to drift away in the races. Although there's no shame in losing the Belmont. He did by 20 lengths, but I mean, the horses that won the race, to see, 'tis the law. He won easy. He's looking at the Travers. Dr. Post is looking at the Haskell, so no shame. He's definitely running against pretty good class.
Yeah, great point there. Peter Pan here. This is race 9, opening day, Saratoga for 3-year-olds. It's going to be a good one, Johnny. Can't wait to watch opening day. Let's move on to the next race we'll talk about, and that's for the fillies. That's race 8. That's the Schuylerville. And this one's a little bit different here, Johnny. This is going to be a grade 3, and this is going to be going 6 furlongs here. Your thoughts on this one? That's the Schuylerville race 8 at Saratoga opening day.
I think this is a fantastic race. I think a 6 furlong 2-year-old filly race at this point in the summer. It's all these horses are winners. This definitely looks like it's going to be a race that's going to be a little tougher to predict than it might look on paper. The last 3 years, the Stormcat Stallion line have won the race, and there's a few of those horses in here. The 1 Make Mischief, the 7 Day Out of the Office, and the 8 Hopeful Princess all fit the bill for that one. I think my favorite horse out of those 3 would be Hopeful Princess. It was a private purchase for Asmussen and Stone Street Stables. Not sure if you remember the last time they had a good private purchase. I remember a horse named Rachel Alexandra. I don't know if we want to start the comparisons just yet, but it wouldn't be the first time if they did find a gem in the haystack. 2 of the Northern Dancer lines that don't go through Stormcat are in here. The 2 and the 3, they're both by Hard Spun. The 2 is out of a Dixie Union mare, who's also the Northern Dancer line. So it's stamina and breeding on both sides, which is really nice with fillies. It's kind of something you want to see. And the 3 is by a Sky Mesa broodmare, which is the AP Indy line, the Seattle Slew line, which I'd still consider that relatively close to being a stamina line. So out of most of the field, these horses are really well bred for stamina, and even though it's a 6 furlong race for fillies, that's a key for them. You want to look for fillies that have the stamina on top and the bottom. Usually those horses turn into be the better horses. with that being said, I do give an outside chance at a 15-1 shot in here, the 4, Quinoa Tifa. Quinoa Tifa is by Gemologist, who's the Tisnell line on top with Stormcat Broodmare. She's a Florida bred. She won her first race and you said terminally outside. I think the horse showed a little bit of heart there. Definitely had to draw deep and show some guts in that win. And that was back in April. It didn't have a buyer speed figure, but looking at the time, I think the horse ran pretty well, and I think she has room to improve. With that being said, I think Hopeful Princess is going to be my top pick. I'm going to stick her on top. Beautiful Memories, the Mark Casse horse. He's saying some really good things about this horse, so I definitely expect that 10-length win first time out not to be a fluke. Probably be a tough horse. I'm going to use her underneath, and then I think the 4 Quinoa Tifa would be my third selection in the race.
There we go. I like to hear that price in there. Yeah, nice breakdown on the pedigree there. 8 Hopeful Princess. So you got to like to switch to Steve Asmussen after that first win. You know, Stone Street Stables taking over. Asmussen getting the training now, and this horse should be ready to fire. Santana Jr. There's Fast Works coming into this race. I do follow. My top choice is the favorite, the 3 Beautiful Memories, and I'm listening to what Mark Casse is saying about this horse. Ortiz has also said some nice things about this filly. This horse broke its maiden at Churchill Downs by 10 in the May. John Oxley talking about owners, another solid owner in the game. Always has a solid crop of horses. Hard spun, the sire here, 6-5. Morning Line, don't love the price. And the other one I might just mention is number 1, Make Mischief. This is Cassie's other horse in the race here. Johnny V is going to be riding at 12-1. Don't love it. I'm really with Johnny. I like the 8 and the 3 would be my top choice. And then maybe the 1 on a long shot underneath. That's my thoughts on the Schuylerville. Johnny, anything else you want to add to the mix here?
Just looking forward to seeing Saratoga going tomorrow. It's nice to see it on a Thursday. It's kind of the big track attraction. You know, we live in San Diego, so we like Del Mar as well. But it's nice to be able to focus on a track that's going to have its own attention, and hopefully the pools stay big. Out here at Del Mar, the opening day pool, I think they said it was like 3% bigger than last year, even with no fans. So I'm expecting some big numbers out of Saratoga, and you know, let the chips fall where they lie, I guess.
Hey, well, we're the only game in town. We got to strike it while it's hot, Johnny. Other sports are going to get going, so hopefully Saratoga has a good meet. I think they're going to be on Fox and a couple other things, but other channels. So definitely pay attention, and I can't wait to watch Saratoga. My favorite time. It is a horse town. It's going to be a little bit different there without fans, but you know, I think that the purse money. There's going to be some serious money thrown in opening day. So a great card to look at. You got 2 graded stakes. We talked about the Peter Pan and the Schuylerville. Thanks for joining us, everybody. More videos to come. You're watching The Hip Horse with Johnny Lowe, Tommy D. Thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you next time. All right.